Road.
Remembering Rock Hudson on Entertainment Tonight.
Taking the pledge as presidential candidates Bradley and McCain swear off the big special interest soft money. We'll look at why it's so addictive and who gives it. The U.S. military declares victory over a pesky enemy, the Y2K computer bug, and a major breakthrough in getting insurance companies to pay for experimental treatments for cancer.
This is the CBS Evening News, with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Two presidential hopefuls crossed party lines today trying to fight the influence of big special interest money on American political campaigns. They crossed party lines to do it. Republican John McCain and Democrat Bill Bradley tried to focus attention on what's called, quote, soft money, the unlimited, unregulated money shoveled into campaigns by special interests. In so doing, they also tried to help each other by attacking the perceived presidential frontrunners. CBS's Phil Jones has the story, political and financial.
We said we were going to sign.
In New Hampshire today, it was a case of presidential politics making strange bedfellows. A Republican, John McCain, and a Democrat, Bill Bradley, signing a pledge not to allow use of big corporate unregulated money if they become the nominees. McCain was scathing against Democrats.
The scandal in 1996 was not Monica Lewinsky. The scandal was a debasement of the institutions of government by the Clinton-Gore campaign. The President of the United States rented out the Lincoln bedroom, treated it like Motel 6, and he was the bellhop.
And Democrat Bradley focused on Republican George W. Bush.
I personally think that the governor of Texas will demonstrate that you can raise too much money in politics.
Vice President Gore was clearly worried about this event today. He bought a full-page ad in the local newspaper claiming that he's been fighting for reform for a long time and pledging, if elected president, to put campaign finance reform at the top of his agenda, which brought this cynical reaction from Bradley.
So if today he is for banning soft money and will take a similar pledge, I welcome that. I'm glad that he's finally come over.
It was only 4.5 years ago at this same site that President Clinton and then Speaker Newt Gingrich also shook hands and promised campaign finance reform in response to a question from a local citizen, Frank McConnell. It never happened, and McConnell has since died. Did your husband become cynical?
He was very disappointed because he felt that a handshake meant a lot, especially up here in New Hampshire and, New England.
Both Bradley and McCain denied that this was just another campaign stunt that would only fuel cynicism around the nation and here, where there's already a memorial bench marking the site of the historic last unfulfilled political promise. Phil Jones, CBS News, Claremont, New Hampshire.
So just where does all this soft money, hard cash come from? Where is it going? And what do these givers with deep pockets get for their money? We asked CBS's Diana Olick to dig into this big money give and take and to follow the dollar for you.
They can preach reform and sign away the system, but the candidates of Campaign 2000 are set to run the most expensive political race in history, fueled by soft money.
It's unregulated, and it's a huge amount of money. We estimate over $500 million in 2000 alone.
The election year isn't even here yet, but so far in 1999, Democrats raised $26 million in soft money through June, with the Republicans at $31 million. And where's it all coming from? Since 1991, the top 10 donors to Republicans are big corporations, which gave over $30 million. The Democrats got $24 million from their top 10, 6 of which are labor unions. So why does a company like AT&T give almost $1 million to both parties this year?
AT&T is in a major competitive play about the internet, is in a major competitive play in terms of how the markets will be regulated. Who decides that? The president and Congress.
But while McCain and Bradley were vowing to rid their campaigns of that kind of special interest money, frontrunner George W. Bush today gave little hope he would jump on their bandwagon anytime soon.
We cannot afford a version of campaign finance reform that unilaterally disarms our Republican Party and our conservative principles.
And the chairman of the Republican Party today defended soft money as a right of free speech.
And I think parties have a right to express themselves as well as citizens and any other organizations, and that's what we do.
McCain's crusade to reform the system has cost him support from his own party leadership, and that's just the problem. How do you change the system from within when the parties and the politicians are all addicted to it? Diana Olick, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Government officials all over the world were declaring their computers ready today for Y2K. Governor Jesse Ventura said Minnesota is ready. Just live your life, he said. U.S. Energy Secretary Bill Richardson said all of America's electric utilities are ready. And officials in Russia said there will be, quote, no serious disruptions there. But the U.S. State Department is not so sure. It recommended today that Americans delay travel to Russia and come home if you're there. As for the U.S. Armed Forces, the Defense Department says when the millennium clock strikes midnight, they'll be prepared to strike back. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin reports from the Pentagon.
The U.S. military is so dependent on computers for everything from operating tanks to paying the troops that a senior Pentagon official had warned year 2000 computer glitches could cause an electronic El Nino. Today, that same official declared victory over the Y2K bug.
We're ready. We anticipate absolutely no problems in the Department of Defense.
Of 2,100 critical computer systems, only 2 used by the agency which analyzes satellite photos will not be ready. All the others, like the targeting software for the Tomahawk cruise missile, have been tested and declared ready to do battle against an enemy called Y2K.
Rarely does a military organization know precisely the time and the date and the place when the enemy will attack. In this case, we did.
18 months ago, barely a quarter of the critical systems were ready, and the military thought Y2K was strictly a problem for computer geeks.
It was hard getting everybody focused, that this was about warfighting. This was not about computer technology. This was warfighting.
The Pentagon has spent $3.5 billion fighting the battle of Y2K, including setting up a joint missile warning center with the Russians to make sure a computer glitch doesn't set off false alarms of an attack.
We're going to make sure that there are no questions, concerns, or problems between those two countries if there is a missile launch somewhere.
Many of the world's militaries are not Y2K ready, but then they are not as dependent upon computers as the American military. As the Pentagon's number 2 man put it, only the U.S. has become so automated it's forgotten how to do it by hand. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
David Martin also reports tonight that despite the arrest of 13 suspected terrorists in Jordan, U.S. officials are not sure they've broken up a plot to attack Westerners in Jordan over the new year. The U.S. Embassy in Amman issued a statement saying, and I quote, the full dimensions of the threat are not known at this time, unquote. Technical glitches turned NASA's plans for a bi-coastal launch double feature today into a total no-show. In Florida, Shuttle Discovery's launch to fix the Hubble Space Telescope was delayed for a 7th time, this time to check for possible welding problems in fuel lines. They'll try to launch again tomorrow. And in California, for reasons not fully understood, it said a computer cut off the launch of a new generation satellite designed to study Earth's environment. NASA will try to launch that one tomorrow as well. Now, still ahead on the CBS Evening News, it could be the start of a trend. Some insurance companies will now pay for experimental cancer treatments. The Louisiana inmate siege, how the Cubans wound up in a small-town jail. And some Y2K celebrants may have a run-in with the law of supply and demand.
Floor-shine leather wingtips. Available online in 299 retail locations.
Ooh, candies.
Oh, classic Doc Martens. Full-grain leather, lug soles, available online in 234 retail locations.
Ooh, hey, Steve Madden.
Wait, Kenneth Cole. No, wait, Via Spiga? This never happened.
StoreRunner.com has shopping experts in every conceivable field, like Dave Pearson's shoes.
Kenneth Cole. Definitely Kenneth Cole.
StoreRunner.com. Log on, let's shop.
Nobody does it like you.
The new Hoover Steam-Pack Light Path sends hot water surging through 6 rotating brushes to stir up and pull out dirt others may leave behind. If you want clean, Hoover. Deep down, you want Hoover.
Sooner or later, you're going to quit smoking. So consider this. A quit date this good won't come along for another 1,000 years. Don't waste it. Quit with Nicoderm CQ. CQ's got the 3 gradual steps, and hundreds of thousands of smokers have already quit with it. Wasn't 1 millennium smoking enough? Start the next one with Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Mamma mia, cheesioso, molto bene, delizioso. Now Pringles, a bit delicious.
In Colorado, FBI agents are trying to track down the author of a threatening message in an internet chat room directed against Columbine High School. The threat prompted officials to close the school today and keep it closed until after the holiday recess. Final exams were put off until school resumes in January. On the CBS Health Watch, a first-in-the-nation expansion of managed healthcare coverage. HMOs in New Jersey will now cover experimental treatments for patients participating in federal clinical trials. CBS's Elizabeth Caledon reports tonight on what could be a model for managed healthcare nationwide and some new hope for cancer patients.
When all standard therapy failed to slow Lou Panucci's lung cancer, he agonized over whether or not his insurance company would pay for any experimental treatment.
It's almost like being told, you're getting the electric chair, how's that? Or somebody's playing Russian roulette with your life.
Now, cancer patients in New Jersey will never have to worry the way Lou did. At a press conference today, a coalition of insurers announced it will be the first in the nation to voluntarily cover experimental treatments approved by federal health agencies.
This agreement is going to be a model for other states, and it will put New Jersey on the fast track in the fight against cancer.
According to the National Cancer Institute, hundreds of new treatments from drugs to gene therapy are currently in development. For many patients, clinical trials represent state-of-the-art, last-chance care. But of the 20% of adult cancer patients eligible to take part, less than 3% actually do.
What we've done today is eliminate one barrier for enrollment of patients on clinical trials. That one barrier is the barrier of cost.
Insurers, long vilified for rejecting most experimental treatment outright, say the change in attitude is good for them as well as patients.
Our plans will have a very fast, hopefully effective way to get them to the right place at the right time. That's positive. That is very positive, and it's good business sense as well.
The move comes at a time when the federal government is being heavily lobbied to mandate insurance coverage of experimental treatment. So the hope is if New Jersey can do it voluntarily, other states will follow suit, avoiding new laws and more tension between insurers and patients. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
The U.S. government is out tonight with a new look at the changing health habits of older Americans. More older Americans are following advice to eat more fruits and vegetables, and they are now less likely to be smokers. Fewer than a third over age 55 have tests for colon cancer as recommended, and even though breast cancer risk rises with age, fewer women get screened as they get older. On the CBS Market Watch, American Airlines pleaded guilty today to a felony charge of storing hazardous chemicals at the Miami airport and was fined $8 million. The chairman and CEO, Don Carty, made a public apology saying, and I quote, "This is not our proudest day." Technology stocks led an advance on Wall Street. The tech-heavy NASDAQ soared 93 points. The Dow up 19. Up next on CBS, President Clinton's plan to keep Israel and Syria talking.
Hey, Annie Matthews. What's on your plate today?
Today's going to be great, but really busy. 10, maybe 15 cuts.
Lunch is here, Annie.
I'll probably grab a quick bite when I can.
Annie, your 2 o'clock's here.
And maybe get heartburn. I used to think Tums if I'd already eaten. Not anymore.
Now you can take Pepsid AC whenever you need it. Pepsid AC controls heartburn before, during, or even after you eat.
Of course I can take you.
No matter what's on your plate, today should be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
I'm the Black & Decker floor buster. I eat broken glass for breakfast. I eat cat litter for lunch. Let's just say I have an insatiable appetite. I'm the floor buster. I'm built by Black & Decker.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
So what'll happen to all this now that you're going virtual?
We're not going virtual.
I read you're getting into internet trading, online cash management.
Well, we are, yes.
The end of an era.
Not at all. Online trading and the rest of it are simply new tools we're making available.
You don't have to sugarcoat it for me, but I must tell you, I'm going to miss our little chats.
Nelson, I'm not going away. The office isn't going away.
The coffee? The ticker?
Not going away.
What about the little bull?
Not going away.
Good.
Labor of love took on a whole new meaning when Kyle was born. 12 hours of labor.
One of life's most joyful moments can also be one of its most painful. But take comfort, as so many women have, in Tylenol, the pain reliever doctors and hospitals choose most.
Come meet your little brother.
Hello. Tylenol, take comfort in our strength.
Russia's prime minister today angrily denied reports that a Russian tank column suffered a devastating defeat in an ambush in the capital of Chechnya. But reporters for the Associated Press and Reuters counted more than 100 dead Russians in Grozny last night. Russian forces have surrounded the Chechen capital and have been shelling it heavily for weeks. They've told civilians to get out, but only a trickle of refugees left. And the Chechen rebels say they will defend the capital to the death. After 2 days of peace talks in Washington, leaders of Israel and Syria have still not shaken hands in public, but they have agreed to meet again starting January 3rd in Washington. President Clinton calls it, and I quote, a good start. So far as can be determined, the president has not offered the talked-about idea of putting American troops in the Golan Heights to protect the peace. CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is following these talks. John?
Dan, Israeli and Syrian officials did what they came here to do. They set a timetable for what may be the most strategically significant development in the Middle East since the Camp David Accords of 1978. But no one is under any illusions that putting an end to more than 50 years of a state of war will be an easy accomplishment.
As I emphasized from the outset, the journey will be tough. Nothing in the past 48 hours should lead us to believe otherwise. But the parties are embarked on this path.
The agreement to meet in January came after 2 days of talks conducted under high security and a veil of secrecy. The next round of negotiations is expected to be intense.
What we came out from this is an incredible willingness for everybody to put their shoulder to the wheel and really work, and we will see.
Israeli Prime Minister Barak leaned on the Syrians today to rein in the Hezbollah terrorist group. Security is an issue of paramount importance to Israel. Syria's willingness or ability to keep a lid on the violence may well determine the tone under which the talks progress. Dan?
John Roberts. Fighting flared again today along the Lebanese border. 15 schoolchildren were wounded when shells fired by an Israeli-backed militia landed near a village school in southern Lebanon. Israel confirmed the shelling, saying it followed guerrilla fire from the village. An American peacekeeper was killed in Kosovo. Army Sergeant Joseph Supanchek was killed when his military vehicle struck a landmine. He is the 8th U.S. serviceman to die in Kosovo. More than 6,000 Americans are there with the international force trying to keep the peace between ethnic Albanians and Serbs. Up next on the evening news, the simmering standoff at a Louisiana jail holding Cuban criminals.
Here's your regular internet homepage, and here's i1.com. You use it like Yahoo, Lycos, or other search engines, only i1.com gives away $10,000 every day, $1 million a month, and $10 million on tax day. Which one would you choose?
Oh, I see. Someone's supposed to struggle with this, right? So let's bring out the blonde.
Just doing research.
I'll pick the one with all of the cash.
i1.com.
Yeah.
Introducing i1.com. Why wouldn't you?
Sign here? Sorry, I only have a minute.
In so many ways, in so many places, it keeps a million disasters a day from happening. It's like having a life insurance policy you never knew you had.
Gotta go.
It's plastics.
There's my good girl.
Plastics make it possible.
While some folks couldn't sleep, you were peacefully sleeping thanks to Simply Sleep from the makers of Tylenol PM. It's non-habit forming and eases you into a restful night's sleep. Simply Sleep.
Yoo-hoo!
ready?
Ready for a better way to get my fiber.
Use your concentration.
New Phillips fiber caps don't contain sweetener like most powders. They're concentrated, so they're just as effective as Metamucil. New Phillips fiber caps, effective fiber therapy without the powder.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. I'm tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
Maybe it was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10, 20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which if you consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premiums.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
I guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
What do you know about expense ratios? An expense ratio is a percentage.
The FBI says it is not setting a deadline for an end to the 4-day-old hostage siege at a parish jail in Louisiana. 4 Cuban inmates are threatening to kill their captives unless their demands are met. CBS's Maureen Maher reports on who these men are and what they demand.
From the beginning, the 4 Cuban detainees have been clear about their demands. They want out of the United States.
Come on out. Just come on. Crawl this way. Crawl. Keep crawling.
The inmates have released 1 guard, but since Monday afternoon, the warden and 2 other deputies at St. Martin's Parish Jail have been held hostage at knife point. They are among some 2,400 Cubans, most of whom came during the famous Mariel boat lift, but then committed crimes in the U.S. They are still in prison because of immigration laws.
That just because they're immigrants, they're given a different treatment, and that this law is violative of their civil rights and human rights.
Under U.S. law, immigrants convicted of a felony can be deported, but Cuba refuses to take them back. And American officials say they can't let dangerous felons walk the streets.
The INS is essentially forced to detain these individuals until there's a breakthrough with the Cuban government.
In the meantime, housing the detainees has turned into a money-making venture for Louisiana sheriffs like Sid Hebert. The INS pays Iberia Parish $750,000 a year to hold inmates who come with added risks. Since the uprising 10 miles down the road, the sheriff's inmates have been confined to their cells.
What we trade is potential a volatile situation, as we're now seeing, for stability in revenue.
Talks between the FBI and the inmates continue at this hour, with law enforcement officials across the country watching closely, knowing that whatever the outcome here, it could affect the entire system. Dan?
Maureen Maher, thanks. Monica Lewinsky made a court appearance in Maryland today to give testimony about Linda Tripp. Among other things, Lewinsky said she was unaware when Linda Tripp secretly taped their conversations and gave them to Special Prosecutor Ken Starr. Maryland state prosecutors hope to use Lewinsky's testimony to put Tripp on trial on charges of illegal wiretapping. Straight ahead on the CBS Evening News, a champagne toast on our countdown to 2000.
We take our sight for granted in America, but for many people, it's a luxury. Every year, LensCrafters runs Gift of Sight missions to bring sight to needy people around the world.
We change lives with these glasses.
You drop them off at LensCrafters and we'll get them to people who need them. And just the look on their face, like, wow. Every single pair matters. And the more we collect, the more people we can help.
Please bring us your used glasses today.
It's $69.90. What are you looking at, cable? Shh, it's just getting good.
3 minutes a week.
Ah, DirecTV. Hey, everybody. This is Jim. Look, DirecTV's got all your favorite cable channels. Plus, now you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitment. DirecTV. What are you looking at?
Quaker oatmeal is like a lifeguard. It's always there for you. And after we ate it for 30 days, it helped lower our cholesterol 23 points. So you could say it's a real lifesaver.
And it sure is yummy.
Quaker oatmeal warms your heart and soul.
Mamma mia, cheesioso, molto bene, delizioso. Now Pringles, a bit delicious.
As you might expect, Keller and I don't see eye to eye on investing. I like to avoid risk.
Tellers a little more daring. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing Power Street by Fidelity, the first site with trading tools customized by Lycos to fit your life, your goals, your unique way of doing things.
Look, the market's up. Or, in your case, down.
Power Street Online Trading. Call or visit Fidelity.com to open an account.
With just 15 days left until the year 2000, some people are hunkering down for who knows what, and others are preparing to pop the cork on a once-in-a-lifetime party. That's where the champagne makers of France come in, as CBS's Mark Phillips reports on our countdown to 2000.
There are still some large unanswered millennium questions. Will air traffic control systems work? Will the bank's computer remember your balance? But here they have another, they think, more pressing millennium question. Will there be enough champagne?
For me, celebration means champagne.
Can you welcome in the new millennium without champagne?
Personally, no.
But a lot of the world may have to. The problem with champagne, the place and the drink, is that there's only so much of it. For a wine to be called champagne, the grapes must be grown and the wine made in the French province of Champagne. These aren't so much bottles of bubbly as they are soldiers marching off in ranks to defend a copyright. And the French have convinced the world that the only way to really celebrate anything is with the real thing. Yet with their strict geographic restrictions, the French can only produce about 330 million bottles of the real thing every year, which, if you're a producer, is a pity.
The demand this year is something between 20 to 25% above what we are going to put on the market.
As much as I would love everybody to enjoy champagne, because it is the finest sparkling wine in the world, I think that, unfortunately, yes, it's going to be impossible.
The millions of bottles maturing in Champagne's caves right now will not be rushed to market, but will stay there until they're ready. So will there be enough of the stuff on the night? That depends on how many people want to drink it. In fact, the answer to that question is like the answer to so many millennium questions. Nobody really knows for sure. All anybody knows is that champagne has more or less cornered the market on celebration and fun. And for the industry that makes it, that means one thing.
Money?
In Champagne, I'm Mark Phillips on the countdown to 2000.
You may want to mark. A lot of people think California bubbly is better anyway. Cheers. I'll be back later tonight with 48 Hours. Peter Van Sant has a preview.
Our children, forced to grow up fast.
Kayla nearly lost everything in a flood.
This is everything I own.
Jennifer nearly lost her life in an instant.
I shook her, and she wasn't responding.
Too much, too soon, later on 48 Hours.
48 Hours, 10 o'clock, 9 Central Time here on CBS. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you again soon on 48 Hours.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Believe it or not, 'tis the season for hackers. Computer hackers, that is, and the viruses they're spreading are vicious.
Is this a relatively famous virus right now?
This is probably the most current, most dangerous virus that's around there right now.
If you don't want your computer to do this, don't